I'm sorry. So it's Brianna Hursley, Angelia Van Kraus, and Susanna Meyer.
I need an accommodation.
Thank you.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Can you hold the microphone closer to you? Thank you.
So I wanted to have a real life conversation with you because I don't think you're quite getting it. So my name's Brianna Hensley. I've attacked cerebral palsy, which in my life will give me extreme fatigue, progressive pain, and limit my mobility. I am being encouraged to do whatever I want with my life right now because I won't have that opportunity later on. And I'm here to tell you that LCC is notorious for being inaccessible to disabled students. And the tuition increase, I assure you, will make me leave, and I will encourage everyone else to leave. I cannot work. I can never able to work. I live off my financial aid. I pay my rent. I pay my phone bill. I pay for my food. I pay for my medication. And I pay for all the extra needs because of my health off my financial aid. This increase, I'm a full-time student, will add more than $200 to my Phoenix server. That is the difference between an accessible upgrade on my computer to do my schoolwork. That is the difference between a phone. That is the difference between voice control. That is the difference between buying my medication. And you will be responsible. You will be responsible for suffering. And I will make it clear that you are responsible. And I will make it clear to every person in this room that you are responsible. I am not responsible for your lack of planning. And neither is any kid in this room. And I encourage you not to increase, because if you do, you are single-handedly responsible for every student at this college suffering, and I hope you feel that. Thank you.
Angelia Van Kraus, Susanna Meyer, then Andrew. Begins with the Z, Andrew. I can't read the rest.
Zelensky.
Thank you. Angelia, are you here?
Hi, my name is Angela Van Kraus. I am actually running for the open position on the LCC board. And so I'm here today to introduce myself. I was a student here at LCC about 10 years ago. I came in unemployed, rode the bus, I didn't have a car, and I have had an incredibly successful career after transferring to the University of Oregon. I do have $34,000 in student loan debt, so certainly I understand the complications of tuition. Thank you for the time. Happy to meet you all.
Thank you, Andrew. We have Susanna Meyer, Andrew Zelensky, and Sandra. I can read the shot part, but I can't read the rest yet, Sandra. Please go ahead.
Oh, good evening. My name is Susanna Meyer, and I'm here to request that I and my group be invited to the discussions that you're having about selling the old LCC building across from the station with the city. We have been working for years. I moved here in 2007 when people were upset about the pit where now the new LCC building is, and I held meetings for years and years listening to what our whole community would like, and we've put together a vision that matches the vision that you had originally with what you were going to be doing there. So I just want to make sure that the community's voice is heard in these decisions, and we'd love to meet with the city manager. I've been speaking with the mayor, with the counselors. We have a voice that should be heard. We have a very clear vision that can benefit our community, which incorporates everything that you've been working on with the incubator and the innovation center. the accelerator, and includes some other aspects of what our community needs. So I just hope that we can be part of that discussion.
So could I ask that you send an email to President Hamilton so she has your contact information?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Zielinski and then Sandra.
And I also have my business card with her email on it, so I can give this to you as well. Contact info. Yeah, I'm also here to support that same involvement in the community, in the sale of that LCC building, and being involved in the discussion of that as you go forward and what that building would be used for, because I feel that I, along with Susanna and many others, have a great vision for what this can be in the future of our city's downtown, and that building takes up lots of real estate, has so much to offer spatially, so I'd like to see that used for the proper purpose and to be included in that. So I know you have our contact, and thank you for your consideration and time.
Thank you. Sandra? Shotridge, thank you.
Can you hear me all right? I have a disability. I'm asking for the full 3 minutes. Thank you, Phil. My daughter is a student here. I'm not going to give her name, and it's not my last name, because she might. I don't really trust the government. She went to Standing Rock, and she was on that bridge when they were shooting at her for 5 hours. How many of you are familiar with that? Standing Rock? 5 hours. The news was not complete by design, and she was and is traumatized by all that. She's a student here. She's very giving. She gives to people all the time. All the time. Right now she's helping her dad with his mom, who has Alzheimer's. That is one of the students that you're going to put through the ringer if you raise tuition. You guys are not looking at numbers, you're looking at people with real issues, with real problems. Please keep that in mind. And also, she's Native American. She benefits a great deal. She talks about Shinigwawa. That's been like a place for her to go and relax because she can put her feet up and know that she'll be all right. That traumatized girl. Please keep her in mind. Thank you.
So earlier, Siobhan had a place in line. Is Siobhan here? All right. I would like to encourage anyone who has anything else to say to feel free to send us an email. We routinely receive emails and read those emails. So thank you for this heartfelt testimony, and we will move through the rest of the meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the opportunity to do this was earlier, so I apologize for not suggesting it, but given the scope of the number of people who have turned out this evening to hear the board's discussion and disposition of action items with respect to tuition and the Titan store and so forth, I would like to suggest to the board, or move, if you wish, that we move those items forward immediately in front of all other items, so that people don't have to sit here and wait until 10 o'clock at night to hear our discussions.
Okay, is that a motion?
That is a motion.
I second.
Okay, so we're open for discussion on that motion. Are we ready to vote? Looks like we are. Please call the roll, Donna.
Bill Carrasco?
Aye.
Mike Eister?
Aye.
Matt Keating?
Aye.
Lisa Fragala?
Aye.
Melanie Munzer?
Aye.
Rosie Pryor?
Aye.
And Susie Johnston.
Yes, aye.
Okay, so we are going to jump to tuition first, and can someone...
Well, Mr. Chair, we need to approve minutes from the February board meeting before we jump to action items.
And why do we need to do that?
I just made a motion and the board
I thought you were
approved
moving,
it.
so
That we
by,
move immediately to
well,
tuition.
let me respond, please. I was under the impression that you moved it to the top of the discussion action item. If I inferred incorrectly, my apologies.
You inferred incorrectly. I meant to move it to immediately.
Okay.
Okay, so then it looks like, where are those?
4D.
4D is the tuition item. And then we've got food service and type of store as B, 2 and 3. We could take the tuition item first. Okay, so we're ready for the board the presentation on the tuition.
Thank you. In November, the board discussed the Higher Education Price Index. In December, the board reviewed its policy and elected to ask the Budget Development Subcommittee to provide a recommendation for a tuition increase. That increase from the Budget Development Subcommittee, which is also the recommendation of the administration in scenario 4 provided in your budget package, is to increase tuition $6 per credit, which would raise the resident student tuition rate to $119.50 per credit hour. I'm available to answer questions.
I have a clarifying question, and that is, we have a written piece, but you said there was a more current one online. Is that the one you sent an email?
Yes, I sent an email and you have it your places too.
Okay, oh, so this is the correct one. Oh, okay, thank you.
Melanie, did I see your hand?
So I have all kinds of questions associated with the tuition document that was emailed out. Is this the appropriate time to just start digging into those?
Yes.
Can you reference where that's at in our, is it outside our packet?
It's outside the package.
It's outside the packet. Do you have a copy you could submit? I know what you said there
It's
was,
not mine.
or not submit, but is there a copy that I can see? Because I don't want to pull my,
Yeah, it went to your spot, so somewhere in there.
I want to follow along.
It was the first page on the packet of information. and
Yeah,
you
there's
placed
a
it
staple
in.
packet. The
We're
first
going to bring it up on the screens. It's in the budget package, and we'll be able. Melanie, let me know if this is the document you're referring to.
Yeah, actually, that's a great
Okay.
place to go back to the FY, that right there.
Thank you.
So I have, I have a whole bunch of questions. So my starting point, I was unclear for this chart. Which of these are included in what scenarios? Since there were 4 scenarios that were presented in the materials, I couldn't follow if this was in all of them or not. I also couldn't follow, some of these say increased funding, some are silent. And I wasn't sure then, are all of these additions to strategic planning additions that we would like to make? Or are some of them existing? So I was just kind of confused as a starting point on the material in here.
The information provided in the packet reflects investments included based on the board's recommendations that the college should invest in student success, access and equity, economic development, and be strategic, and allocate our resources based on the mission. Within here, we went through a robust fall planning process with our strategic planning and program review. At the department level, these were the requests that we saw that through the process we are investing. What we're trying to project, and we're conflating a little bit of the budget presentation with the tuition decision now, but what we're trying to reflect is the ability to take our limited resources and while making strategic reductions, also being able to provide investments that will help for student success. This page was capturing what we believe we can invest in budget. This is represented in option number 4 in your budget package.
So these are only associated with option 4, then none of these items are included in the other 3 scenarios, only scenario 4.
The investments.
Scenario 4 in just the little spreadsheet and then some of the other.
Scenario 4 in the spreadsheet. These would be additional investments to that scenario. Yeah.
I'd like to clarify, since I was part of this planning process. These investments shown in the top are included in the base planning projection for each scenario.
The 3.4.
Yes, that's included in the base
in
every scenario.
Okay.
And these are our strategic investments for mostly existing budget, but there are some additional investments, for example, in essential IT infrastructure is one example, and then adding some additional faculty positions.
Okay, so then that's why then for the additional recommended, those are the 2 that are then listed separately in 4. That's where I was getting confused. Okay, so those are the additional ones for 4.